If you're seriously interested in learning about the metaverse, then this best-selling, deeply researched book by Matthew Ball, I think it's a must-read. But as soon as I got it, I have to admit, I started looking through it, trying to find what I felt was the most deep obstacle to building the metaverse, and I couldn't find a chapter on it anywhere. I'm talking about assholes, of course. All that stuff in the book about computer CPUs and internet latency, blah, 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 blah. It's all very, very tough, but it's not as tough as dealing with assholes. What could assholes do to stop the building of something as important as the metaverse? Well, all they really have to do is make the experience of going to a virtual world today so irritating and so unpleasant that people will go there, decide they hate it, and never go back. And to build a huge project like the metaverse, you need people's support. You're not going to get support from people who think it's a big waste of time. Let me explain to you how it works. I like to go into Horizon Worlds, and one time I went there and there was a whole bunch of people standing around, and I came over and I said, "Is it okay if I come and talk to all of you with this group?" And this one guy looks at me and he says, "Sure, that'd be fine for a guy with a comb over." And I thought, do I have a comb over? And I realized he can't see me. So does my avatar have a comb over? And I went, no, they don't offer avatars with comb overs. And I thought about it and I realized, no, this guy is just an asshole. It was just so out of the blue. It was so shocking. Why would this asshole just look at me and for no reason insult me? And it's so much more intense when you're in the same space with somebody and you're not just reading something that somebody says in some tweet or something. And it just ruined my day. And I can promise you that all it would take would be a few thousand guys like this one strolling through cyberspace, ruining everybody's day, and you can forget about the metaverse because nobody is going to want it. And it gets worse. There's a whole spectrum of assholatry in virtual worlds, everything from sexual harassment to aggressive NFT selling to farting. And then there's this whole other category of asshole who's never actually been in virtual reality, but they've heard things. Like there's a lot of pretty extreme sexual stuff that happens in these worlds, and sometimes it's maybe just a tad too close to little kids, or you don't even know who's doing it. Everybody looks the same when they're avatars. But anyway, there's this thing that people do, which is called ERP, erotic role play, and I don't really understand it. I guess they mime sex in virtual reality. Maybe you can figure it out. But what I'm afraid of is that some politician or talk show host is going to get their hands on this idea of ERP, and they're going to say our kids are being corrupted by ERP. And once they hook on to the idea that in the metaverse, their innocent little kids are going to be forced to ERP from morning until night, they will fight the metaverse with everything they've got. I'm attempting to make a very serious point here, which is that the people who are planning the metaverse are so brilliant that it makes them stupid because they forget what everybody can see, which is that there's so many morons out there. And you can't plan something like the metaverse without figuring in human frailty. It's a mistake to see it solely as a technological problem. And you have to remember that although the metaverse remains to be built, the asshole-verse, it's here. It's just really here. It reminds me of something that my mom used to tell me all the time, which was the best laid plans of Mark and Zuckerberg. They can just be crapped on. Anyway, I promise you that my next video is going to be much more positive and optimistic than this one, and I hope to see you then.